I'm currently in Melbourne, and as you can hopefully see behind me, there is hundreds of flying foxes. These are the grey-headed flying foxes. I was already photographing the spectacled flying foxes a few weeks ago up in Queensland. To be honest, I don't even care so much which exact species I'm photographing. I find both of them really cool. At the moment, most of them are just hanging in the trees because it's still late afternoon, and they will get more active in the evening when the light gets a bit lower. However, some of them are already a bit active. They are like opening the wings a bit, looking out. They are cleaning themselves, which looks really cute. And some of them are also crawling a bit around the trees, which looks really cool. So I will get going and start taking some pictures and give you some tips in a few minutes. The last time I was taking pictures of the flying foxes, the issue was not necessarily that they were too shy, because honestly, if you behave a bit normal, they don't care. As long as they're just hanging in the trees, they don't mind you so much. I also want to mention that here there's an official path to which I'm sticking. The problem last time was that they were just all too high in the trees, and from the angle that I was shooting, I was just pointing the camera too much up, and it didn't look very nice because you just see them from the bottom. What I then, actually from the top in this sense, because they're hanging upside down. But anyway, I didn't like the look so much. And then I went a bit farther behind. I used the 2x extender, and then I got a bit of flatter angle. But the kind of situation here is much better, because basically you have a river down there that they also use on warm days to get a bit of water, and the kind of the hill or the coast on both sides of the river is rather steep, and the path is, I would say, maybe 15 meters above the river. And this means I have some beds above me, but some also actually on eye level with me. And this already means that the perspective is much better, because I shoot on eye level, which just gives a much nicer look. And second of all, the background is of course much nicer, because now I have the trees and the grasses on the other side of the hill in the background, and not just the grayish sky. Now, in terms of equipment and camera setting, I'm using my 600mm f4 just because, especially with a bit larger subjects, and for me the flying foxes are already larger subjects, I prefer this really large aperture to get a better separation from the background. And also, the later it will get, the more happier I will be about the f4 for sure, because it will get darker. Now, if the bats are just hanging from the trees, and they are maybe looking out of the wings a bit and slowly turning their head, like a 320th of a second is plenty to get a sharp image. However, once they start cleaning themselves, stretching the wings a bit, or even crawling along or climbing along the branches of the trees, I prefer to take a 800th of a second or something, just to be on the safe side, that I get some sharp shots, and then increase the ISO a bit. So overall, it's a rather overcast afternoon, but every now and then there is a bit of sunlight coming through, hitting the background. Now these trees here on this side of the hill are already of this side of the creek, are behind the hill, and therefore already in the shadow. Often when I do waterfowl photography like ducks or swans, I really like to have the background hit by the early morning or late afternoon, evening light, because it gives this yellowy glow to the background that really helps, I think, to make the image a bit more interesting. However, for the flying foxes it doesn't work so well, because as mentioned, they are already in the shadow, which is okay, but they are so dark. They are black to dark brown, and then the difference in contrast or in brightness between the background and the flying foxes is too much. You can see how now the sun is starting to hit here again. So usually I just need to wait 1 or 2 minutes until the sun disappears behind the next cloud, and then I have a background that is a bit darker, and that is a bit making a more overall pleasing image. So currently it's spring in Australia, and some of the flying foxes are already having babies, which is super cute. Once they open the wing, you can see that they are like on the belly or close to the breast of the mother, like a small fluffy thing. I will try to take a bit more pictures. It's not so easy, but I hope a bit later in the evening, when they are opening the wings a bit more often and get more active, I will be able to get some shots. Now, just before, a small parrot, a rosella, was landing on a branch, and I also managed to take some really nice nice shots of this one. Luckily, the settings are actually very similar if you take pictures of the flying foxes or of the parrots or some other birds, especially since I'm shooting in manual mode. I basically don't need to change much. The only thing I was changing now, because the rosellas are a bit smaller birds, I actually stopped down the aperture a bit to f4.5 or f5, just to have a bit more depth of field, that the rosella is more or less completely sharp. As mentioned before, I really like about this location that I can take pictures of the flying foxes on eye level with a greenish background. However, sometimes silhouettes can also look cool. And there is one perch behind me in a rather open area on a lower branch, and there is an upper branch doing kind of a nice shape in my opinion. So I was trying to take some silhouette pictures, and then in the post-processing I will just increase the contrast a little bit, that it's really reduced to basically black and white, so we don't see any fur details or anything. It's just about the shape, and I actually hope that maybe a bit later it will still open the wings a bit, that we get an even more distinct shape or silhouette. So the activity is definitely increasing, and I'm trying to get some flight shots because they are passing here all the time. Unfortunately, it's getting a bit darker, so I put my 600mm f4 away for now, and I'm switching to the 100 to 300 because it has an aperture of f2.8, and the higher the activity gets, the more flying foxes are also getting closer to me, so close enough for 300mm. And even though generally I prefer to have this green background, here I also like to have the background like at the canopy, where you see a bit of the sky, because there you also see like some black blurry dots, and this is just the other flying foxes that are still at their sleeping places, and to have them in the background, and then of course in focus the flying fox that is, well, flying by. I think this could also look quite cool, so I will try it a bit more until I lose all the light. So it's starting to get very dark, and at some point even for a f2.8 lens and an R1 it's getting too dark. I think I got some nice shots. The flying foxes were flying a lot in front of this green belt, which I really liked in the beginning. They were sometimes dipping to get some water. I'm not sure if I got a good shot there, also because my angle was, or my position was kind of too high. So the thing that I liked for taking the pictures of the flying foxes on the trees, actually now I didn't like it for the shots at the water, but you can't have everything. I think I got some nice shots when they were taking off the water and they were still kind of licking their mouth and losing some water droplets, but I need to check at home if they're still sharp. The ISO were already quite high and I needed to compromise a bit with the shutter speed, but the good thing is that the flying foxes, they're not as quick as a swallow or a swift, so I think I had most of the time something a thousandth of a second, maybe a little bit shorter, but it's okay-ish. Afterwards, I also tried to take some silhouettes against the sky because I thought it looked just cool when they spread their wings. And of course, there I used the fastest frame rate available just because I wanted to have the perfect wing position. And I was very lucky that today there were some nice cloud formations with some kind of afterglow in the sky and some blue hour that we're getting into now. So I think this gave some quite moody images, especially if I play a bit with the white balance afterwards. The last few minutes when it was getting really dark, I also tried to take some panning shots, which I don't do so often, but on occasion. I thought it could look quite cool, first with this green belt in front, the more classical panning shots, and then also with these trees in the background that you can see here, because they are quite structured, and I thought it could maybe look cool and give kind of a mystical look to the image, especially if I underexpose a little bit. So I had something between the 30th and the 50th of a second of shutter speed. I closed the aperture a bit to get a bit more of these structures, and then I put the stabilizer on mode 2. For Nikon I would take the sport mode. And what I did actually use on my R1 is this panning assistant. I'm not sure how much it helped. I still had a lot of shots that are not what I like, because the bat is also not really sharp, the flying fox is not really sharp, but I hope there is one or two that are good. It was also a bit tricky in terms of the autofocus, because it would easily grab to the trees behind, just because they are quite contrasted, the dark stem and then the rather bright sky. So what I did there is pre-focusing a bit, and then I was actually turning off subject detection and using the expand area autofocus on my Canon camera. On Nikon I would use the dynamic mode. There you have the S, M and L. without subject detection, because I just think this can work better in these circumstances, and it also helps you to keep your subject really at the same position in the frame when you are panning, and that's important with this slow shutter speed, because if it moves in your frame, it means you're not panning with the correct speed. I hope this makes sense. I want to share one last trick with you, and this is sometimes the bats were coming from this rather dark greenish belt and then flying higher. So since I was taking pictures with the manual mode, it meant with the dark green belt I didn't see anything. I could not find them in my viewfinder. So what I did there was using the optical viewfinder simulation. On Nikon cameras it's called adjust for ease of viewing, and it basically just means that the viewfinder shows you a bright image all the time, no matter if you're underexposing or not. So basically the way I use this mode is I set in the correct exposure with the exposure simulation, and then I switch to this optical viewfinder simulation for the rest of the shooting, just because then I can already track the bats or flying foxes even if they're in a dark area of the frame. Just keep in mind that you have activated it and check your exposure from time to time. If you want to have more tips about the autofocus and button customizations of your Nikon Z cameras or Canon EOS R camera, then please have a look at my autofocus ebooks. I link them below. With that, you would obviously also help to support my channel, and on this occasion I want to thank to all the channel members that are already doing so or giving me a super thanks from time to time. For me, it's definitely time to head back now. I'm running out of light even to film myself. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.